Location, timing, witnesses, preparation. If you're a dad going through a high conflict custody situation, this is your playbook. Because the exchange, that 90-second window where you hand off your child or pick them up, might be the most stressful moment of your entire week. Your heart's racing before you even pull into the parking lot, your hands are gripping the steering wheel, and your brain is screaming at you to either fight or run. Here's your game plan. 10 practical tips to survive custody exchanges starting today. Here's what nobody tells you about custody exchanges. Your body doesn't know the difference between a custody handoff and a physical threat. Your amygdala, the alarm system in your brain, fires the same stress response either way. Cortisol floods your system, your heart rate spikes, your breathing gets shallow, and the part of your brain that makes calm, rational decision, it goes partially offline. That's not weakness, that's biology. And every dad in a high conflict situation deals with it. So, if you've ever said something you regretted at a handoff, or frozen when your ex made an accusation, or sat in your car afterwards shaking and wondering what just happened, that's not a character flaw, that's your nervous system doing exactly what it was designed to do, in a situation it was never designed for. What you need is a system, a game plan you run every single time. So your body and your brain know exactly what to do, even when the other parent is trying to start something. These 10 tips come from family law experts, psychologists who specialize in high conflict dynamics, and the real world experiences of dads who've been exactly where you are. And if you want a printable version of everything we covered today, I've put together a free high conflict co-parenting survival guide. The link will be in the description, so just grab it from there. So let's get into it. That's not my opinion, that's what family law attorneys see over and over again. So here's the hierarchy. For moderate conflict, a school or daycare exchange, parent A drops them off in the morning, parent B picks them up after school, no contact between parents at all. For higher conflict, a public parking lot with visible security cameras, a library, supermarket, a well-lit chain store lot. And for serious conflict, a police station safe exchange zone. There are now over 450 of these across the United States. They're marked, they're monitored 24/7, and they're free. And for the most extreme situations, a supervised exchange center, where trained staff monitor every interaction and parents never even see each other. Here's the key. Once you pick the location, lock it in. Put it in your parenting plan with exact details. Not just a public location, but the specific address, the specific parking area, and never ever change it. If it's not working, file a motion, don't just show up somewhere else. But location is only part of the equation. Tip 2 is about what you do before you even get out of the car. Tip number 2, build a 15-minute buffer and use your car as the pre-game locker room. Here's what most dads do. They rush to the exchange, arrive exactly on time or a few minutes late, their heart's already pounding, and immediately step out of the car into whatever's waiting for them. That's walking into the ring without warming up. Instead, arrive 15 minutes early, every time, no exceptions. And this does 3 things. First, it eliminates the cortisol spike that comes from running late. Second, it gives you time to regulate your nervous system before the handoff. And third, it puts you on the record as punctual. Family court judges consistently associate punctuality with credibility. Being on time isn't just polite, it's evidence. And while you're sitting in that car for 15 minutes, you're not scrolling your phone, you're not rehearsing arguments, you're preparing your nervous system. Which brings us to tip 3. And this one might be the most important 90 seconds in this entire video. Tip number 3, before you open the car door, run the physiological sigh. This is the fastest evidence-based tool to calm your nervous system in real time. It comes from Stanford research by Dr. Andrew Huberman and Dr. David Spiegel, published in 2023. I want you to actually do this with me right now. Step 1, you inhale through your nose, a full breath in. Step 2, at the top of that inhale, add a second short inhale, like a sniff on top of a full breath. And step 3 is a long, slow exhale through your mouth. Empty your lungs completely. This is what it looks like. And that's one cycle. You do that 2 or 3 times. Most people feel a noticeable shift within 30 seconds. What's happening is that double inhale reinflates your tiny air sacs in your lungs that collapse when you're stressed. And that long exhale activates your parasympathetic nervous system, the brake pedal. In the Stanford study, 5 minutes of this daily outperformed mindfulness meditation for reducing stress and improving mood. You don't need 5 minutes at the exchange, you need 30 seconds. So inhale, inhale, exhale. Do it in the car, do it before every exchange. Just make it automatic. Now, once you open that door, you need a script. And tip 4 gives you one that's exactly 5 sentences long. Tip number 4, yellow rock the exchange. 5 sentences maximum. If you've watched my video on the grey rock method, you know the idea. Be emotionally uninteresting. Don't give the high conflict person anything to react to. Yellow rock takes that one step further. It adds a thin layer of warmth, a polite greeting, a thank you, so your behaviour doesn't read as hostile or uncooperative to a judge or a custody evaluator. Here's your entire exchange script. Hi, Amber has their bag and their medication. Thanks. Goodbye. That's it. That's the whole thing. Greeting, logistics, thanks, goodbye. 5 sentences under 30 seconds. No discussion about the court case, no mention of child support, no questions about what happened at their house last weekend, no defending yourself against something they said in a text, no explaining your plans, no justifying your decisions. In high conflict dynamics, there's an acronym, JADE. Don't justify, don't argue, don't defend, don't explain. At the exchange, the only words that come out of your mouth are logistics about the child. Everything else goes through the app. And if they tried to pull you into a conversation, you'll need tip 7 for that. But first, tip 5 is about what happens before you even leave the house. Tip number 5, pack the bag the night before and use the same bag every time. Now this sounds small, it's not. Rushing to pack on exchange day adds stress to an already stressful morning, and forgetting something, medication, homework, the favourite stuffed animal, gives the other parent ammunition. Here's your checklist. Medication, confirmed, homework or school materials, weather appropriate clothing for the full stay, the comfort object, and we'll talk about that in tip 6. Any signed permission forms or notes, and their phone if they have one fully charged. Pack it the night before, set it by the door, and for the kids 7 and older, let them help. It gives them a sense of control in a situation where they don't have much. One more thing, duplicate the basics at both homes. Toothbrushes, pajamas, a pair of sweatpants that lives at your place permanently. The lighter that bag is, the less stressful the transition feels for your child. Speaking of your child, tip 6 is specifically about making the exchange easier for them. And it's backed by 70 years of developmental psychology. Tip number 6, give your child a transitional object and a 15-minute warning before the exchange. A transitional object is a specific item, a stuffed animal, a small blanket, a little token that travels with your child between both homes. The concept comes from the psychologist Donald Winnicott back in 1953, and this object becomes a psychological bridge, something stable and familiar in a world that keeps shifting. For younger kids especially, this can make a real difference. But even older kids benefit from having something consistent that goes back and forth. Now, the 15-minute warning. Before you leave your house for the exchange, tell your child what's coming. Not as a surprise, not as a rush. Something like, hey buddy, we're heading to your mum's in about 15 minutes. Let's start wrapping up. And here's the most important part. What you say at the actual handoff matters enormously. Keep it simple, keep it warm, and never ever put the other parent down. Your child is watching everything. They're reading your face, your tone, your body language. If you can stay calm and warm during that 30-second goodbye, you're giving them something more important than any custody strategy. You're giving them permission to love both parents without guilt. That's the gift. Now, as a quick reminder, the free custody exchange survival guide covers everything in this video in a printable format you can keep in your car. The link is in the description. Now, what happens when the other parent doesn't play by these rules? Well, tip 7 is about the most dangerous moment of the entire exchange, and it's where most dads make their biggest legal mistake. Tip number 7, refuse the ambush. Here's the scenario. You pull up, you're regulated, you've done your breathing, you've got your 5-sentence script ready, and then your co-parent starts in. An accusation, a demand, a sarcastic comment loud enough for the whole parking lot to hear. Maybe they're filming you, trying to provoke a reaction they can use later. Here's what you do. Stay in your car as long as possible. Don't get out until the moment of transfer. When you do, don't match their volume. Don't defend yourself. Don't explain. Don't engage. You have one line and use it on repeat. I'll communicate through the app. That's your script. No matter what they say, no matter what they accuse you of, no matter how personal it gets. Get your child into your car, close the door, drive away. You can vent to your attorney, your therapist, or a trusted friend later. You can document everything in the app when you get home, but at that curb, silence is your superpower. Here's why this matters legally. Family law attorneys consistently warn that recordings of you raising your voice, even in self-defense, can and will be used against you in court. Your co-parent may know this, and they may be baiting you to create exactly that recording. So don't take the bait. And if you want to go deeper in this exact dynamic, I did a full video on the BIF communication method. The link is also in the description below. Now, tips 8 and 9 are about building the paper trail that protects you long after the exchange is over. Tip number 8, run every single logistics through the co-parenting app, even if the other parent refuses to use it. The big 3 are Our Family Wizard, Talking Parents, and App Close. I did a full comparison video. I'll link that in the description as well below. But here's what matters for exchanges specifically. Every message you send through these apps is timestamped, unalterable, and court-admissible. They can't be edited, they can't be deleted, and if your case goes back to court, your attorney can export 6 months of clean professional communication in minutes. Our Family Wizard even has a feature called Tone Meter. It flags if your messages sound hostile before you send it. It's like a reality check built into the app. And here's something most dads miss. Even if your co-parent refuses to use the app, your one-sided record still matters. It shows the court your communication style, your tone, your attempts to cooperate. That's evidence too. The rule is simple. If it didn't happen in the app, it didn't happen. Courts treat verbal conversations as he said, she said. They treat app records as evidence. Which brings us to tip 9, the specific documentation habit that wins cases. Tip number 9, tap GPS check-in when you arrive and log a moment entry whenever anything notable happens. Our Family Wizard's check-in feature logs your GPS location with a timestamp. That means you have proof, not just your word, that you were at the exchange location at 6 p.m. If the other parent claims you were late, the GPS says otherwise. If they say you never showed up, the record says you did. After the exchange, log a brief moment entry. Keep it factual, not emotional. 6:02 p.m, exchange at Queen Street Mall, Ben was transferred without incident. Or if something happened, 6:02 p.m, Kayla raised her voice and accused me of manipulation. I said, I'll communicate through the app. Transferred Ben and left. Write what happened, write what she said, exact words if you remember them, and write who was present. And here's one most dads miss. Document the good exchanges too. If every entry in your file is negative, it looks biased. Over 6 to 12 months, this becomes the most compelling exhibit in any modification hearing. And one more tip, and this one protects everything that comes after the exchange. Tip number 10, have a post-exchange recovery plan. The exchange doesn't end when you drive away. Your nervous system is still activated, cortisol is still circulating, and if you don't give it somewhere to go, it will leak into the rest of your evening, your mood, your patience, your sleep, and your relationships. So before exchange day, plan what comes after. A workout, a walk, a call with a friend who gets it, a podcast that resets your headspace. Something physical is best because your body needs to discharge the adrenaline. And here's what not to do after an exchange. Don't make any decisions about responding to your co-parent for at least 90 minutes. Don't open a beer to take the edge off. Don't doom scroll custody forums. And don't call your ex to continue the conversation. Give your system time to come back online. You earned it. So those are your 10 tips. Location, buffer, breathing, yellow rock, packing, comfort objects, refusing the ambush, using the app, documenting everything, and recovering afterwards. Here's what I want to be honest about. These tips help. They work. Dads in this community use them every week. But if you're doing all of this and you're still losing it, if your hands are still shaking when you get home, if you're still replaying the exchange in your head at 2 a.m, that's not a tactics problem. That's your nervous system telling you something deeper is going on. And I made a video about exactly that. It explains why your brain gets hijacked, especially around your ex. I'll link it right here. Watch it next. Grab the free survival guide in the description below. I'm Gus. This is the Unco Journey. I'll see you on the next one.